Was
I
I hear
don't understand
crickets.
this. I've been hearing
Yeah.
what?
There are
somebody else
crickets.
hear crickets? They're out on the field with you,
Yeah,
Rob.
yeah, they're on the
Speaking with
track.
Rob.
Cricket races.
I have my door open and I hear crickets. You mean you can hear them through my
Yes.
ear?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh,
All
very
right.
sensitive.
All right, so we should be going live any seconds.
Okay. Oh, I should mute then.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we going to get Hillary's clock at 7:30? I guess not. That's only on the hour.
One chime
get
at the
her name.
half hour,
Right.
and then
That's
hour
what I
is
was.
whatever hour it is.
All righty, we are live. We are on YouTube. We are live streaming.
Okay. Meeting come to order, please. Meeting come to order, please. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice and two meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Eastern Camden County Regional School District has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the three municipal buildings of the constituent districts in the board secretary's office, and notification to forwarded to the Courier Post and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Please rise for flag salute. Mr. Katir.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of the United
of the
States
United
of
States of
America
America.
and to the republic which
Which
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation,
under
under
God,
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 indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown,
I think we
Mr.
lost him
Campbell?
again.
His phone's
Here.
on.
Mrs. Chow,
Here.
Mrs. David. Mrs. David,
Jude's here.
Present.
Mr. Dykert, Mrs. Garr,
Here.
Mrs. Parker, Mr. Paul,
Here.
Mr. DeChico,
Here.
and Mr. Brown.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of our 6th September?
So moved.
Second.
That's August 19th meeting and executive session. Moved in second, discussion. And roll call.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Ms. Garr,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
and Mr. DeChico.
Yes. Communications, Ken?
I do not have any, sir.
Okay. Report of the superintendent.
Yes. First, there are no cases for HIB for the month of September to report. The start of the school year went as planned. We had approximately 1,000 students attending the first 2 days of the outside events, introduction to the teachers and the departments. So that went as planned. Again, lots of credit to especially Mrs. Mason for coordinating our bus transportation for the days that we've had. And yesterday we started with fall practice of sports. So we had more than 400 athletes on campus yesterday after school. And today was the first day that we also had student activities begin on campus outside after school. So we are primarily remote. We do have 2 special education programs occurring on our facilities, but otherwise we're primarily remote. We are making some final refinements for the planned opening on October 5th. So we will be sending out a notice to all parents on Monday that has a breakdown of the AB schedule for students. Guidance finished working with Voorhees Township on the households that we share with the sending district in Voorhees. So that has been arranged. We did not hear from 52 parents, but so we're just going to default those parents that their students will be attending hybrid. But otherwise, that process is finished. Given the experience of the first week, we're going to make some refinements with the schedule as it opens October 5th, just some minor adjustments. So all that information and more will be published on Monday, the 21st. Thank you.
Okay. School Business Administrators Report, Mr. Grill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one item, the New Jersey School Boards Association virtual meeting. Everyone has been signed up for that meeting because there was enough participants indicating that they wanted to do it. So we just did it in a bulk group. So everybody is signed up for it. So please take a look at your calendars for October 20th to 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you. Under presentations, Scholar of the Month, Gail. You're muted, Gail.
Sorry. Consider the recommendation to adopt a resolution recognizing the selection of Bryce Dersham as Scholar of the Month for September 2020. Bryce is so recognized for his academic achievement, commitment to athletics and extracurricular programs, and good school citizenship.
So moved.
So, second.
All right, so we will be showing a video that includes both the Student of the Month, Bryce, as well as our student representatives. It's in one video, and I think it actually begins with the student representatives to the board. It's approximately 10 minutes in length. So,
Okay.
Mr. Smart, if you're able to start that, thank you. Mr. Smart, we don't have any volume. Mr. Smart, if you can hear me, we don't have any volume. All right, that did not work with the volume. So let me see if I can get it to work for us.
Good evening to the Board of Education. My name is Kayla James. My family, my mom, my dad, and my sister also with me from home. It's a shame that I can't be with you guys tonight due to the circumstances. However, I'm ready to make the best of this opportunity. I'm with the class of 2021. Clubs and organizations I've been involved with here at Eastern include the following. I'm president of the Fellowship of Christian Students. I played freshman soccer. I was varsity cross country, indoor and spring track and field athlete. I'm also a member of the student council.
They provided me with an understanding of the English language that has facilitated my academic growth. In my experience, Eastern has created athletic, scholastic, and social opportunities for its students that are truly unique and life-changing. After Eastern, I am looking to go into biomedical engineering at a school such as Harvard, Princeton, Tufts, MIT, or Cornell.
Yeah.
Thank you all for giving me the
I'll do my
opportunity
best to try
come
to
here
make that
tonight. I
happen.
will
Yeah,
see you
thanks.
all in October.
Bye-bye.
Good evening to the Board of Education. My name is Kayla James. My family, my mom, my dad, and my sister also greet you from home. It's a shame that I can't be with you guys tonight due to the circumstances. However, I'm ready to make the best of this opportunity. I'm part of the class of 2021. Clubs and organizations I've been involved with here at Eastern include the following. I'm the president of the Fellowship of Christian Students. I played freshman soccer. I was varsity cross country, indoor and spring track and field athlete. I'm also a member of the student council. I participate in Math League and Science League. I am part of the executive board of African American Student Union. And I'm also a member of the History Honor Society and Spanish Honor Society. The greatest impact that all of these, this broad spectrum of extracurriculars I've been in is that it's taught me that service is not limited to materialistic provisions. I've learned that through my experience here at Eastern that I can serve my community every second of the day just by giving all that I am to anyone I encounter through every opportunity that I'm given. And I believe that my personality, my work ethic, my grit, my zeal, my passion, my dedication can be best demonstrated at universities like Princeton University and the University of Pennsylvania, those places that I hope to apply to this fall. And later in life, I hope to either pursue oncological research or civil rights law. I also would like to give a shout out to Dr. Toll for helping make Eastern my second home, and to Mr. Bound and Mrs. Basil for helping me discovering my passions and my purpose. Thank you guys so much for this opportunity, and I cannot wait to see you guys in October. Bye.
English 3, AP, and art.
So, experience, Eastern has created athletic, scholastic, and social opportunities for its students that are truly unique and life-changing. After Eastern, I am looking to go into biomedical engineering at a school such as Harvard, Princeton, Tufts, MIT, or Cornell. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to come here tonight, and I will see you all in October.
Good evening. I have the distinct pleasure of presenting our Eastern Camden County Regional High School District Scholar of the Month for the month of September 2020, Mr. Bryce Dersham. His parents are Dr. Janelle Dersham and Michael Dersham. Some of his current courses include Honors French 4, Orchestra, AP English 4, Lifestyle Fitness, AP Government Politics, Honors Topics in African American History and Culture, Honors Programming, and Art. Now, some of his past courses include AP US History 2, AP English 3, AP Physics, AP Biology, AP Chemistry, AP Advanced Honors English, and pretty much every advanced honors class that we offer at our high school. This young man boasts a current grade point average of 105.535. He boasts a math score of 750 and a verbal score of 740. Now, let me tell you a little bit about this young man, because he's just not about the books. This young man is about a lot of involvement. First and foremost, he's head of the Poetry Club. He is part of the Varsity Academic Challenge team. He is news editor of our school newspaper. He's a mock trial witness, a student council member. He has been a member of the varsity and junior varsity chess club, as well as a junior varsity and varsity debate member. He is an accomplished musician. He's played the piano for 11 years, and he's played the violin for 3. Some of his honors that he's received is recognition on the Distinguished Honor Roll for the past 3 years. He's a member of the National Honor Society. He's received the Student Council Outstanding Service and Leadership, the School Award, as well as the Rensselaer Medal, and the Academic Awards for Freshman Honors French, Academic Awards his sophomore year, Honors Algebra 2, Advanced Placement Biology. Academic Awards his junior year includes AP U.S. History 2 and Advanced Placement Physics 1. He's also received an award for Advanced Honors English, Biology, and Geometry. Some of his community activities includes being a member of the St. Andrew's Youth Group. He's a leader and a mentor. He's a pediatric facility volunteer. He's also involved with the Crescent View Nursing Home holiday event as the coordinator. And he's involved in the St. Andrew's Youth as a youth group leader and mentor. Now, I've said enough about him, so now I'll give him an opportunity to talk to you about his career aspirations, where he's going to take his talents, and what his experience at Eastern has meant for him. So I present to you our very own Mr. Bryce Dersham, Scholar of the Month for the month of September 2020. Take it away, Bryce.
Hi, everyone. So after graduating high school, I looked to pursue going to college and majoring in both history and linguistics. After then attending and getting my bachelor's degree, I looked to go to graduate school to eventually obtain a doctorate in linguistics. I want to be a professor when I'm older, most specifically within the linguistic fields of Romance contact linguistics or morphological theory. I hope to attend college at one of the following universities, either NYU, UCLA, the University of Texas at Austin, Penn State, or Rutgers. And that's pretty much what I'm looking forward to after high school. And then in terms of my overall experience at Eastern, throughout it all, as you probably know, the past few months, the past year, it's certainly been crazy. Besides the usual ups and downs of regular high school life, we've had to tackle a worldwide pandemic. I mean, what? But to everyone out there, everyone's just doing so amazing and being so strong, because honestly, that's what Eastern is, an amazing, strong, vibrant community. On the very first day of high school, I got lost. And I don't mean once or twice, no, I mean at least 8 times for all 8 of my classes. And that's what I was, who I was before Eastern, lost. But through all of my classes, I learned not just what it means to be a good student, but more so what it means to be a good person. I've had such amazing role models, Mr. Bound, Mrs. Pomerantz, Madam Goldthorpe, Mr. Tapper, Mr. Farrow, Ms. Mahaka, and all of my other teachers. You guys are the very best. I've met such great friends, and I've enjoyed such great clubs. And after 3 years here with still 1 more to go, I no longer get so lost in school, and I no longer get so lost in the world. I found myself amongst the Eastern community, and even when I fall down, look back, see hardships ahead, even in the insurmountable struggles of recent times, I know I have the most supportive environment and group of people to keep me going. I am standing, or I guess sitting here today because of all of you. Since it's you guys, it always has been and always will be, my family. You are my family, and all I can say is that I thank you all so, so much.
Mr. Brewer, we didn't get a chance to vote on the motion before the video. So just please record that as all in favor, a voice vote, unless there's any objections.
Very good. Thank you.
Presentation by Mr. Westerby.
Good Good evening, guys. Thanks for having me. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to share a document. Give me 1 second here. Does everyone have the document? Okay. I'm here to present tonight the SSDS report. It's a biannual report, and essentially I'm reporting any incidents that occurred from January through June. Obviously, COVID had an impact, quite an impact. We started off the month of January, February. We were even, as you can see, we were even with fights. We had 2 false public alarms that were reported charged by the police. That was internet issues. We had 4 HIB incidents, 3 of which were only alleged or non-confirmed. 1 was confirmed. Substance abuse was 2 uses confirmed and 2 in possession. Thankfully, 0 weapons incidents for a total of 12 incidents. Again, the comparison for the first semester, obviously we missed a few months out of school for COVID, and January and February we were off to a decent pace, which is typical for most school years. It's the winter months, but after that, really no reports came in. Does anyone have any questions for me regarding the report itself? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a report on HIB self-assessment. Mr. Hill.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight to report, again, our school district self-assessment regarding the implementation of the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights Act. This assessment is based on data from last school year. Before I actually show the results, just want to give you guys an idea of how we got up to this point in time regarding the process and steps for determining that grade. So late last spring, our school climate team met and completed that self-assessment tool. Tonight, those results are being shared, obviously, with the Board of Education and the public. If all goes well and the Board of Education approves, the next step will be we can then submit the results of the assessment to the New Jersey Department of Education. Once that happens, they will review it and also ask for any related documents. At that point in time, the Commissioner of Education will then assess and offer our school district a grade. Once we do receive that grade, our school district has to post that score on our website within 10 school days of receiving it. At that point in time, our school Board of Education will see the results offered from the Commissioner of Education. So again, as previously mentioned, our school climate team is responsible for completing the self-assessment tool. Our school climate team is composed of various individuals, including teacher, our anti-bullying specialists, which are from our CST department, and also our guidance department, our anti-bullying coordinator, which is myself, and a added piece we added this past year with students. We got a lot of great valuable feedback from them as well. At this time, I will share the results of the survey with you. All right, can everyone see that? Good. Okay, so again, these are actual results of the self-assessment. As you can see, it's composed of 8 core elements. These core elements really assess our overall procedures and protocols we have in place. It evaluates the effectiveness of our HIB program and really assesses how it can be improved. So overall score was a 76 out of 78. Core element number 1, HIB programs, approaches, and initiatives. Really look at school-wide programs that we have in place to prevent HIB. You can see we scored a 13 out of 15 in category number 1. Category number 2 is really training offered to our staff. This really looks at the definition of HIB and essential information such as those protected classes. We scored a 9 out of 9. Core element number 3, other staff instruction and training programs. really focuses also on suicide prevention, which I think we've done a great job of training our staff in that particular aspect. Core element number 4 is curriculum instruction. It really looks at age appropriate instructions really across various content areas related to HIB. Core element number 5 deals with the HIB personnel, which is our anti-bullying specialist and myself, the anti-bullying coordinator. Core elements 6, 7, and 8 really focus on systems and procedures and protocols that we have in place that really are adhering and ensuring that we are meeting those state mandated guidelines related to reporting incidences, investigating, and also our staff reporting those incidents. So overall, again, our score was a 76 out of 78. Just quickly, other notes from our school climate team. We felt like one of the strengths of the programs are the training really offered to our staff, in particular with HIB, suicide prevention. As you guys know, even regarding mental health, school districts taking a number of initiatives into that, and this all ties in. We also hosted a workshop last year for school climate teams across South Jersey, and our school climate team was able to take part in that training, which is great for us. One other strength we felt really went well this past year was our week of respect. Again, for these initiatives to be really effective, it has to be more than just a grade level meeting at the beginning of the year or even a PSA that we put out. The more procedures we have in place or times where students can hear reminders about HIB, the better off they are. And during our week of respect last year, I think we reached out to more students than we ever had. We did, again, a week where we had we had a number of individuals such as National Art Society, our Students Alliance members with that week of respect. They had like sidewalk full of chalk where they posted positive affirmations, and also they listed the pillars of respect. We also had pledge banners during that week of respect, which any student within the school district could take part in. So this past year really reached out to a lot more students than we ever had. Regarding areas to improve, we still want to look at, again, those tier 1 initiatives to target a whole entire school regarding proactive measures. But overall, we are proud of a number of the procedures that we have in place. Again, our score this year was a 76 out of 78. That was the same score we also received this past year. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, our final presentation is the Eastern Cultural Responsiveness by the trio of Dr. Tull, Dr. Clark, and Mr. Young. Take it away.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeChico. As a part of, our district's response to, the current social temperature out there, we really took some time to look at, our position in terms of how, we were able to, really be in compliance with the Amistad Commission. I'm going to share with you just the Amistad document for those that may not, be familiar with it. So give me just a minute. Okay, and if you see it, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, excellent. Okay, so the commission itself, actually, the Amistad bill became law in 2002, and essentially it calls New Jersey schools to incorporate African-American history into their social studies curriculum. The purpose really just ensures that the Department of Education and Public Schools in New Jersey implement materials and texts which integrate the history and contributions of African-Americans and the descendants of African diaspora. There are 3 primary goals that really drive the Amistad Commission. And first of which is just to be able to infuse history and the African-American culture into our social studies curriculums, at all school levels. The extra is to ensure that New Jersey teachers are equipped to effectively teach, revise social studies core curriculum content standards, and to create and coordinate workshops, actually having professional development that will help, teachers be supplied with the necessary tools to be able to accurately, infuse African-American history into the content areas. So, we are first and foremost as a district compliant with it. So, basically I am, spending a lot of time, working with the Amistad Commission to try to see how we can make sure we broaden the scope and also make sure that we remain compliant in every aspect of the law itself. So that's my part. I'll turn it over and unshare and give it up to Mr. Young. So Mr. Young. And let me sure I can unshare this. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Toll. A thumbs up that you can hear me. Great, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to share Dr. Clark's presentation. The work of the Affirmative Action Office is more than investigations. As a matter of fact, the focus of what we try to do is help support most recently our goal number one for the 2020-21 school year, which is to create a school culture and climate that is inclusive by nature and fosters a positive environment. And so one of the initiatives that we are looking to implement, Dr. Clark will explain a little bit more, is cultural responsiveness. And to highlight a little bit about what that means, again, I won't give away the presentation here, but it's that we can better serve as a community, and as a school community specifically, we can serve our students better by recognizing the cultural experiences that they come to us with. Some of you may remember a late 1980s, early 1990s text, Cultural Literacy. And essentially what that is a book that kind of highlighted what we as an American culture can identify with. And so within that spirit of cultural literacy, that, it's what we as a culture, American culture, put value on, and what cultural responsiveness is doing is looking to expand that. So an example would be, we had a presentation by Bryce Dersham, and, I could use the phrase, he's a Renaissance man, and we would all recognize that for being someone that has talents in a lot of different areas. And, so what we're looking to do is expand what we embrace as an American culture. So in the wake of some of the social justice movement, much focus has been on, as an example, the date Juneteenth and Black Wall Street. These were two examples that are used to show maybe an underrepresentation of African American history in our education program. So it's an example of what we want to do, which is expand upon what we currently do with the Amistad Commission, not just in the history classes, but also across curriculum, as Dr. Clark will mention. So without any further ado, thank you for your time. And Dr. Clark, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. And thank you, Dr. Toll, as well. So my portion of the presentation, I'm going to share my screen right now with you. Can you see it? Okay, wonderful. So the Eastern Cultural Responsiveness Initiative really is a product of district aims, again, to educate the whole child, both in and outside of the classroom. If you were part of last night's district advisory committee meeting, Mr. Couture debuted the district goals for the 2020-2021 school year. And this initiative really is an outgrowth of goals 1, as Mr. Young just went over, and number 2 also, which I'll elaborate a little bit later. So tonight I will be outlining 5 things with this presentation. First, I'll be going over some useful terms for framing this project. Second, I'll be reviewing the makeup of the Eastern student body. Thirdly, I'll be explaining some of what is driving the need or the desire for such an initiative at this time. And then 4th and 5th, I will be highlighting the steps and the timelines that have led to the rollout of this project. So when talking about cultural responsiveness and how that would look at Eastern, it's helpful to have a working definition of what culture itself is. In a nutshell, all people, all of us, have a dynamic culture of reference to which we relate and to which we filter the information that comes to us from the world around us. To the left of that slide, there are many components of this point of reference, and these include, but are not limited to, some of these elements such as family and core values, socioeconomic status, language and level of acculturation, presence or absence of religion, and so on. Which brings us to cultural responsiveness, with a specific application to the teaching and learning process. In essence, it is a pedagogy that recognizes the importance of including students' cultural references in all aspects of their learning. And of course, we know that school, the classroom, is not the only place where students learn. Education, a well-rounded education, takes place both in and outside of the classroom. So Eastern's aim with this initiative is to recognize the uniqueness of all of our students. And this initiative is for all of our students as they learn about and learn from each other's cultures. As I explained some of the elements of culture, I didn't mention verbally race, although that was in the slide. But like most schools, Eastern does track that information. So as you can see, Eastern is a very diverse school in terms of its student body. So these statistics here are from last year's school profile and show but one element, the racial makeup of the school, which comprises but one element of the true diversity that is shown at Eastern. So we know, again, as Dr. Toll explained in his portion of the presentation, that race is an important element of identity and of culture. And we also recognize at Eastern that there is significant nuance within each of these classifications. So this initiative aims to provide a space where we can acknowledge and reflect all of these truths. Sometimes when there are discussions of culture and cultural diversity, they tend to hinge on one aspect of identity or another. But over time, as this initiative is expanded, we hope to provide a space where we can recognize that there is diversity within diversity as well. So as was mentioned at the outset of this, the Cultural Responsiveness Initiative is an outgrowth of District Goals 1 and 2. So goal number 1, again, which is to provide a positive and supportive and equitable school culture and climate. And goal number 2, which is to provide social and emotional support to students, to staff, and to all of the Eastern community at large. The thought process behind implementation will be evident in 4 main areas, as you can see. So coursework or courses, the Holocaust, Genocide, and Crimes Against Humanity program has been established. This year is the debut of the Topics in African American History and Culture course. We will see this also in clubs and activities. We will see this in additional resources and support. So linked to the initiative is something that we're calling the Cultural Responsiveness Repository, which is really a school-driven, school-curated list of resources, personalized resources, multimedia resources, contributed to by teachers, by staff, and by students on a voluntary basis, again, to provide a learning environment online as well. And finally, through professional development of staff throughout the year. Pending board approval, this initiative would begin. In elements, it has begun already. And this is just a very brief timeline of some of the components of the initiative, some which have taken place already, of course, and which will culminate with this repository as well. So, you know, as a result of a lot of the current events, the news, the stories, and all that's going on in our culture right now, there have been a number of opportunities for training for professional development in these areas. So these are just a sampling of some that I and other staff members have attended this summer. And then I would just like to thank everyone for their support in the development of this initiative, particularly to Mr. Gutierrez, to Dr. Borda, to Dr. Tull, and to my fellow administrators, faculty, staff, students, and alumni who have chipped in their input in what we're trying to do here. So I also thank the Board of Education for the opportunity to present tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Clark. Are there any questions from anyone? Okay. At this time, we will open the meeting to the public. I assume we have a phone number for anyone wishing to call in. Oh, there we go. Take a minute or so and see if we get any phone calls. Do we have any, Mr. Gutierrez?
We do not. And the report on the number of people watching tonight's board meeting is much lower than previous meetings. So I think we're good to move on.
Okay. At this time, I will close the meeting to the public and move into purchases and investments. Motion to approve items 1 through 8.
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second on items 1 through 8. Any discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown? Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Chow?
Yes.
Mrs. David?
Yes.
Mrs. Gar?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. DeChico?
Yes.
And Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Got him back.
And I do believe Mrs. Parker has joined us. Mrs. Parker, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, Veronica.
Good evening.
Under matters of personnel, motion to approve items 1 through 3, 1 through 13.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on items 1 through 13?
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Chow?
Yes.
Mrs. David?
Yes.
Mrs. Gar?
Yes.
Mrs. Parker?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. DeChico?
Yes.
Go.
Okay, under education, Mrs. David.
May I have a motion to approve items 1 through 8, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second on items 1 through 8. Do we have any discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yeah.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Yes.
Thank you.
Under policy, Elena?
May I have a motion to approve item 1 and all the policies from A to U? This is a second reading.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Moved in second on item 1. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Yes.
Thank you.
Athletics, Mr. Paul.
May I have a motion for items 1 through 4?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved in second on items 1 through 4. Do we have any discussion?
Just curious, the sub-varsity football location of Jan Julia Field, is that gratis or is there, is there a charge for that? And if we don't know that we can take it offline.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know that offhand. I'll get an answer for you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
and Mr. DeChico.
Yes.
Thank you.
Student activities, Mrs. Parker.
May I have a motion to approve items 1 and 2, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved in second on items 1 and 2. Discussion.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was wondering how the fall play was going to be presented.
So
A
Dr.
radio? Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry.
Dr. Molotsky's selected a radio version of It's a Wonderful Life. That way it can be done virtually. So it will be a virtual performance. However, students will participate on campus. So there'll be students coming on campus as well as parts of the play recorded for a virtual performance. So he's making it a hybrid. He had the idea that using a radio play would work for the virtual environment. And that was one of the leading reasons he chose that play.
You know, I have to say that I've listened to many movies as radio plays, and they do a wonderful job. And I'd also like to say, I think this is a wonderful selection. It's a great movie.
Agreed.
I agree.
Any other discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Abstain on item 1 and yes on item 2. Finance, Mr. Campbell.
Can I please have a motion for items 1 through 6?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on items 1 through 6. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Yes.
Thank you.
Under property, a motion to approve items 1, use of facilities.
So moved.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Gar,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Yes.
Thank you.
Under committee reports, executive planning, Mr. Brown.
Okay, so we did have a meeting a couple days ago. We reviewed just the status of where things are with the COVID special equipment we've been getting. We also reviewed the grievance that was presented at the last board meeting, which I guess we'll be discussing in executive session.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
That was the extent of our meeting, and we'll talk about that later. That's all I have.
Okay. We have nothing on negotiations at this time. Technology, Ms. Scott.
Yeah, there was a report included, and it basically, reading through it, was following up on and completing what was started in August. So it's there if you need it.
Okay. Camden County School Boards, Mr. Paul.
Nothing to report at this time.
New Jersey School Boards, Mrs. Barr.
Nothing to report at this time.
Municipal Alliance, Mrs.
Yes,
Brown.
I'll be brief. We did get reimbursed for the third quarter, which represented January through March. We finally got our money from the county. So for all the activities where they were spending money, we were very fortunate to get that. No monies were spent for the fourth quarter, which was April through the end of June. I did get an email from our county coordinator who said that even though we were decreased by 71% this year, we should be getting some of that money back next year. So the Alliance is still alive. I have a project graduation. We had a meeting last week, and we know that we can't do a holiday craft show this year in December. So we would like to have a spring craft show with food trucks outside. So our chairperson has already sent an email to our administrators to think about that idea. And it would be after Easter and Passover, so it would be in the latter part of April. And we're hoping that it would draw a lot of people from the community. Not everybody likes to shop, but everybody likes to eat. So we're going to get lots of food trucks and try to do an international type of theme. And then we thought that maybe for entertainment, we could have some of our musicians or our choir come out and entertain during the day.
Maybe
So
marching band, right?
Or the marching band or the orchestra. And this way it would get the whole community involved. We don't, the raffle baskets brought in a lot of money. We don't expect to make as much as we did previously, but hopefully if we have some entertainment, it would bring out more parents and it would bring out more students to participate. So we'll keep you posted to see if that will work. We have to look at the school calendar and see where we fit in to do an outside event. Thank you.
And we pray for good weather, right?
Okay. Ed Services Commission, Mrs. Parker.
We had a meeting earlier this month and there's nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Library, Gail?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Technology reports, student activities, guidance activities, and meeting dates for the DAC are included. Are there any questions on any of them? Okay, do we have anything under old business? Okay. Do we have anything under new business?
All right, just to pop in, Dr. Toll did get confirmation from Mr. Pico to answer Mr. Brown's question. There is no cost to use the alternative football fields.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Toll, Mr. Pico.
Thank you. Do you have anything else, Mr. Couture?
No, that is all, Mr. DeChico.
Okay. At this time, we will again open the meeting to the members of the public, and the board will be going into executive session. So this will be your final opportunity to address the board. The phone number is posted on the YouTube presentation. So we'll give it a minute or so and see what happens. Okay. Are we clear, Mr. Couture?
We are clear. There's only
Okay.
14 people watching on YouTube. So
Oh, it says 17, and I'm one of the 14. So. Okay, I will close the meeting to the members of the public, and we need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Who's in second? Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Mr. Campbell,
Yes.
Mrs. Chow,
Yes.
Mrs. David,
Yes.
Mrs. Garr,
Yes.
Mrs. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Paul,
Yes.
Mr. DeChico.
Yes. Okay, I guess we'll take a recess until what time, Mr. Chairman?
So well, it's 8:28. Let's say 8:40. So I'm going to send you another invitation. So we're going to leave this meeting, and I'm going to create another meeting just for the executive session that will start at 8:40, about 12 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.